Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking a massive virtual architectural tour of a true medieval marvel, the 12th century Jagannath Temple in Puri, Odisha. We're going to step through its massive outer walls, walk its sacred halls, and eventually crane our necks to look all the way up to its very peak. It's going to be an absolutely incredible spatial journey. Okay, let's dive right into this. 214 feet. That's the staggering height of the main stone structure rising above the inner sanctum. But what we're exploring today is not just a building or a towering pile of ancient stone. It's the beating heart of a living medieval tradition. It's a place where ancient rituals, massive festivals, and architectural grandeur have survived completely uninterrupted for nearly a millennium. Here is our roadmap for today's spatial journey. 1. The Kalinga marvel. 2. Fortified walls and gates. 3. The sequence of sacred halls. 4. The towering Rakadula. And finally, 5. The crowning Nilachakra. Section 1. The Kalinga marvel, a 12th century wonder. So this site is absolutely massive. Commissioned way back in the 12th century by King Ananthavarman Chodagangadeva of the Eastern Ganga dynasty, we're not just talking about one isolated building. No way. It's a sprawling, 10-acre complex packed with at least 120 temples and shrines. To put that into perspective, that's a monumental footprint of over 400,000 square feet. It's literally an entire world unto itself, built to be a primary destination for spiritual life. Now, to truly grasp what makes this complex so special, we really have to look at its specific style, which is known as Kalinga architecture. Just imagine standing outside the complex for a second and looking across it. You'd see these stunning pyramidal roofs on the surrounding halls rising up in tiers. It's like a ridge of mountain peaks, meticulously designed to build up and pull your eyes right toward that towering main spire in the center. It creates this breathtaking, fluid skyline right against the coast. Moving on to Section 2. Fortified walls and gates, defending the sacred. The whole complex is heavily protected by these two massive concentric stone walls, which were actually added later during the reign of Kapilendra Deva. On the very outside, you're faced with the Meghanada pottery. This thing is an absolute fortress wall, measuring 665 by 644 feet and rising up to 24 feet high. And get this, even after you pass that, you've still got to breach the inner wall, the Kormabeta, which wraps around the main temple area at 400 by 278 feet. These dual walls essentially lock the complex down, separating that deeply sacred inner world from the super busy, bustling streets of Puri outside. Now, to actually get inside those towering walls, you've got to pass through one of 4 magnificent animal-themed gates. The main one is the Singhadwara, or the Lion Gate, facing east. It gets its name from these 2 massive crouching lion statues standing guard. Then you've got the elephant, tiger, and horse gates on the north, south, and west sides. If you ever visit in person, you'll most likely walk right through that eastern lion gate, stepping instantly into this intense, high-sensory world of incense, chanting, and ancient stone. It's a real game changer the second you step foot inside. Section 3. The sequence of sacred halls, a journey inward. And this setup brilliantly illustrates the pure genius of the Rekha-Dela layout. You see, the structures aren't just placed randomly. They form this highly intentional linear progression moving westward. It's designed so that, as a pilgrim, you are physically and spiritually drawn deeper and deeper into the complex. You kick things off at the Bhogamandapa, which is the Hall of Offerings. From there, you step into the Natamandapa, the dancing or audience hall. Next up is the Mukashala, basically the frontal porch. And finally, this straight-line journey deposits you right at the Vimana, the inner sanctum itself. It's like a giant puzzle where each hall specifically prepares you for the ultimate destination. Section 4. The towering Rekha-Dela, the main spire. Okay, so this is the Rekha-Dula. Remember that giant number, 214, from the beginning? Well, this is where it lives. This curvilinear tower shoots an imposing 65 meters, or 214 feet, straight up into the sky, absolutely dominating everything we just walked through. Down inside the dark, quiet space at the base of this massive tower sits the Ratnavedi, the throne of pearls. And seated right there on that throne are the unique deities of Lord Jagannath, his brother Balabhadra, and his sister Subhadra. Now, what's really fascinating here is that unlike most Hindu idols, which are carved from stone or metal, these deities are carved from sacred neem wood in this totally unique form called Daru Brahma, known for their huge, round eyes. So you have this colossal, cold stone tower acting as a protective shell for these incredibly organic wooden deities. It's a beautiful contrast. Section 5. The crowning Nilachakra, the blue wheel. Now, what's really wild is what sits right at the very summit. It's the Nilachakra, or the blue wheel. This is a massive, 8-spoked disc that serves as a profoundly sacred symbol of divine authority and protection. And it's crafted from Ashtadhatu, which is a special alloy of 8 different metals, including things like gold, silver, copper, and iron. It stands about 11 feet tall and has a staggering 36-foot circumference. Just take a second to imagine that. A sacred metal wheel, massive enough to weigh thousands of pounds, balanced perfectly at the absolute peak of a 214-foot medieval stone spire. It is literally breathtaking. But the architecture alone isn't the whole story. What really makes this temple special is how human devotion interacts with it. Get a load of this quote. The servitors climb the exterior stone surface of the Rekajula barefoot without ropes, safety harnesses, or protective equipment. That's right. Every single afternoon, right around sunset, members of a specific group of servitors, the Chanara Nijog, or Garuda Sevaks, scale that 214-foot stone facade. They wear silk cloths, they tie flags around their waists, and they literally cling to the natural stone carvings to make a 10-minute free solo ascent all the way up to the Nilachakra. Once they're up there, they change the Patitapavana flag, and they do this in the blistering heat during torrential rains and crazy high winds, driven entirely by sheer faith. No way, right? So, that really brings us to our final thought for this explainer. How exactly does a 12th century stone structure remain such a vibrant, living tradition today? Well, we've seen the genius of the Kalinga architecture, those massive protective walls, the perfectly aligned sacred halls, and that towering Rekadela. But at the end of the day, it's that daily, breathless devotion, like climbing 214 feet barefoot just to change a flag, that truly breathes life into this ancient stone. The architecture definitely provides the body, but the living rituals, they provide the soul. I really hope this spatial journey has given you a newfound appreciation for the incredible Jagannath Temple in Puri. Thanks so much for joining me, and keep exploring.